Anthony, I don't have the crutch of producer Dave here today. Get ready to watch the fireworks.
And that's why I didn't tell you I was traveling today, because I didn't want to give you more anxiety that I might not be here. But here I am.
As us Jews say, I got plenty of shpilkas.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live.
That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Woohoo! Hey, everybody. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. Of course, Mr. Anthony Melchiori right over there. And I am, of course, Glenn Hausman. Anthony, so great to see you today. You're in Jacksonville, Florida.
No, I'm actually in Petersburg, Florida. I'm going to Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. Because I'm
looking at a hotel here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. St. Petersburg is one of my favorite cities in the United States. It doesn't get enough credit for being a cool place.
Well, it's actually up and coming. As a matter of fact, I'm at the Hollander Hotel. Let me give you a little quick look. And this is a small little boutique hotel in St. Petersburg, and they do an amazing job. And I'm not outside because I want to disturb the gentleman next to me. But if you look, okay. I go right on my porch.
Cool.
Right? That's the bar, that's the pool. It's in St. Petersburg. And Mike, the owner, I just had a conversation with him. And he basically built this thing, bought it for a good price, and then just little by little did the right thing. You walk into a room like this, and these kind of hotels, excuse my video, these kind of hotels are my bread and butter the last 10 years, right? Because that's what I've been doing on Hotel Impossible. Yeah. And I feel like I walked into a Hotel Impossible renovation because he said he designed it, but all of the elements of it, from that picture to that big headboard to the furniture, it's like one of my designers designed it. And when you go into the restaurant from the lobby, it's a real restaurant. Matter of fact, the person in the kitchen, the chef, used to work at Danielle Boulay. So this is a real, but he built it with his hands and everything. He said every 4 hours I got to come to the hotel and make sure I'm staying on top of it. So I love hotels like this. It's the Hollander in St. Petersburg. We come to St. Petersburg, go to the Hollander.
St. Petersburg is an interesting market because they don't have any branded hotels over there because of some sort of rule that they have.
That's actually ending. I just went to the True Hotel. I went to the True Hotel just this morning. It's funny because I sent Talene, who runs the True brand, I sent her a picture. I said, look where I am. And the first time I actually went through a True, very nice hotel. There's a Hilton. There's other hotels coming into the market. There's 6 hotels actually being under development right now. There's a couple of condos. The art scene here is really picking up. So it's really 70 blocks to the ocean, but you're on the marina. You have a lot of art. You have the baseball stadium. So St. Petersburg is a hot town. And last night I was in Tampa, and I went to Joe Toro. So if you're in Tampa, go to Joe Toro, which is my friend Joe Isidori's restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant, and I'm telling you, it's one of the best Mexican meals I've ever had.
How did you feel being over there? Because that place is packed all the time.
It wasn't packed last night because I went very late. I was there like 10 o'clock at night, so or 9 o'clock. So it was, but I had a wonderful waitress. Peyton was her name. Young lady. She's going to school to become a teacher. And she's working her way through school. Just a lovely, lovely waitress, and just a great experience. And then so I tell Joe, hey, dude, I'm in your restaurant. And he goes, dude, why'd you tell me? I said, I didn't want to. He comps my meal, and so that's good for the waitress. Anytime somebody comps my meal, it's always good for the waitress.
Oh, yeah.
Because they get double what I would pay for the meal in the check.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. Well, it's just the right thing to do, Anthony. And you're always someone who's doing the right thing. I'm going to Jacksonville on Wednesday. I'll be broadcasting from there on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm looking forward to doing that. And things are opening up. We're starting to travel a lot more, which is really exciting. So let's do a quick segue. Behind me, Dream Hotel Downtown. And the reason why we have that is a couple of guys of Dream and from a Dream have started a new program called HMentors. We're going to learn all about that today. They're addressing the disparity between the executive boardroom and the lack of color that we see in executive boardrooms around the country. Something that, Anthony, I know is near and dear to both of our hearts.
Absolutely. And it's, like I said, when you see a minority general manager or executive, you're like, oh, you shouldn't have to walk in the room and go, oh, wow, okay, that's different. It should be normal, and it's not. Right. So it's an important subject.
It is. Let's bring on Mr. Rob DelliBovi, founder and CEO of HMentors, and Nathan Goodman Jr., who's a founding board member with HMentors, but also Senior Corporate Transient Sales Manager with Dream Hotel Group. Gentlemen, welcome to the show today. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Rob, your signal is not so great today. It's probably all those spring breakers down there in Miami messing with the signal over there. But I think the best place for us to get going is, what is HMentors? Why do you feel that this is something that is absolutely critical to the overall health and survival of people of color and people that are not white guys in the hospitality industry?
Yeah, so Nathan and I created HMentors. It is a mentorship program for underprivileged, underserved youth. Youth meaning, let's say, maybe not youth, college and entry level people who are maybe interested in hospitality, maybe not interested in hospitality. Basically, last year during the social justice movements, Nathan and I had a number of conversations about how we could help, what's going on in our industry. And Nathan actually informed me about a number of stats that I did not know existed, and that under 1% of the C-level executives in our industry are Black and under 5% are Latino. And obviously that's not equitable in terms of, the size of those communities versus the population. So we kind of put our heads together and we put together a mentorship program. Now, there are a lot of mentorship programs out there, mainly focused on sharing tricks of the trade, podcasts, talking about ways to make it ahead. We're doing one-on-one mentoring. And then at the end of these mentorship programs, we're actually placing people. So we've secured a number of internships at major companies. And we have relationships with recruiters and HR executives. So we're actually, once the mentorship process is complete, 3 to 6 months of one-on-one mentoring, which we can get into, we're then actually going the next step, and people who are successful and want to be there, we're placing them. We have internships for them. We have HR executives, recruiters who want to put these people kind of front and center with a lot of the others that they're presenting for jobs. So we believe we're taking it kind of next step versus what exists status quo.
Excellent. Nathan, how about you?
Yeah, Rob, touched on a lot of important points that are near and dear to our hearts. I think all too often, I think the first step that comes with identifying a crucial or critical issue is, of course, conversation. Mm-hmm. And that's great. And, we find ourselves engaging in these conversations quite often, but then it's like, what do we do with that information that we know already exists and that it's already a problem? Where do we go from that point? And, eventually, as myself and Rob did, you have to look internal and you have to say, I have to stop talking about this. We've got to do something to really create a shift in what's happening in an environment that we've grown to love so much, right? We care about this industry. We love it. And we want it to continue to progress. And the only way to do that is to get involved. And we think that this mentor program, there's a lot of great ones out there, but where we think we differ a little is that we actually want to take it to the next step and actually start engaging conversations of getting individuals placed, getting up internships set for college kids who are graduating with hospitality degrees. We want to take that next step to really elevate, the representation of minorities in this industry.
Right. Fascinating. So, Rob, let me ask you this. How are you actually going to turn mentorships into really meaningful jobs? I mean, you're getting people jobs. What is the response that you're getting? Because I'm getting tired of hearing from every organization out there that they care, but we've been talking about this for far too long, and their actions don't seem to be showing that they care. I'm not suggesting that they don't. I'm just saying that I'm not seeing the results of a concerted effort. How are we going to be able to make that change? How are we going to be able to get these people who get entry-level jobs up to that executive level? And how does this all come together for you, Rob?
Sure. Yeah. So we agree with you, by the way. We see the same problems, and that's certainly something that we are addressing. And we have a very, very talented board that's made up of executives, people that are in these higher places that can take people from kind of the entry level to the mid-level and the mid-level to the high level. We are networking amongst important decision makers and important names in the industry, 3 of which I'm talking to on this call right now. who are going to help us and who are going to, again, it's tricks of the trade, it's teaching, it's how did we get there, it's not just the basics of what is revenue management, what is sales, what is marketing, what is operations. It's here's what you have to do really. Here's something that might not be in the books at Cornell University that'll really get you to the top. And then watching these things actually be actioned, giving advice while they're actioned, and then introducing everyone to these high level executives and big names, and it should grow on its own. We're looking for numbers here, right? We have over 150. We drop in April. We're not even we're not officially open until April 1st, and we already have 150 people on the mentee side who want to be a part of this, and hundreds more on the mentor side. Again, 3 here. 4 here who want to be a part of this. So we really want to go big on this. We're hiring a publicist. We're going big on the marketing. This is not like a small time thing where we're going to just get a few people internships. We're really looking to follow through here and go big.
So Nathan, is it, and we talked a little bit off air, but is it that the underserved communities, and that could not only be minorities, but also white poor neighborhoods, or middle class, or whatever it is just where people don't really get access to the hotel business? And so is it that people aren't getting access to the hotel business, or is it discrimination, or is it a little bit of both?
You know, that's a great question, and I think a little bit of both always factors in these kind of scenarios, right? It's a little bit of both. I don't believe that all companies are making a concerted effort or taking a concerted effort to exclude minorities, but I do think that you know, I've been blessed, right? I've had the opportunity to work with a company like Dream Hotel Group, amazing founder, San Chatwell, amazing CEO, Jay Stein, who you guys know very well, who take and make an effort to make sure that their executive team mirrors that of society, right? So we don't have a scenario where we don't have diversity or, you know, different representations of cultures in our company. And I think that's something that you have to make a concerted effort to change. It's not something that will just inherently create itself that way. I will not say that, you know, there aren't many African Americans, Hispanics, and other cultures who are looking to get into this industry. They're a part of this industry already. They're just not able to somehow take that next step. And that's something that is important to myself and Rob, not just coming in and look, as we were talking about offline, you see at the amazing hotels around the world from all different types of brands, amazing diversity on the on-property level, right? Mm-hmm. In front office, in housekeeping, and all of these key departments that are crucial to the success of our industry, right? The question is, when do we get to the next step and have that same representation, no different than with the efforts that you see happening in the 3 major sports leagues, right? You have an amazing amount of talent that pushes the game forward or the sport forward, but why isn't that translating at the top of the company? Why aren't we seeing more owners who are of other cultures? Why aren't they breaking through that glass ceiling? And I think that's something that's important within our hospitality industry as well. We have to figure out a way to get individuals who are doing amazing jobs for us. That's why these hotels are successful. How do we get them to migrate into the upper levels? That takes effort, and it takes a concerted decision that you have to make to do that. It's not just going to happen.
I think as you guys take this on, I think what's really important is telling the story about hospitality, because I don't think, again, not just excluding the minority community, but I think in all communities, people understand that the hotel business is a real business. It's a real, like, you have to be smart, you have to be hardworking, but the barrier to entry is very low. Basically, anybody can come in, but in order to get to the top, you have to work really, really hard. But there's so many ways that you can, whether it be design, whether it be accounting, whether it be marketing, whether it be front desk, whether it be development, purchasing. There's a million ways. Most people look at hotels and they're like, oh, I had my birthday parties there, or I traveled there on vacation, but they don't see it as a real business. And I think part of the story has got to be that I'm seeing it in my own family with my own kids and my nieces and my nephew, that they're starting to see that this is an exciting business. So I think, I did see some discrimination when I was younger in the business. I haven't seen it, but again, I'm not I'm not a minority, so I haven't felt it. But I saw it pretty clearly when I was much younger in the industry. Haven't seen it as much now, but people, whether again entry level coming in out of college, or if you don't decide not to college, they don't understand that there's high paying jobs in this business. You guys aren't cheap. You guys are expensive. You come with a good price tag, okay? And it's you're not making minimum wage. You're making a lot of money. You're doing well, but you're producing. Nathan, you came, right? You have a tie. You have your pocket square. You look sharp. You work hard every single day, but it's an exciting industry. Glenn at least buttoned his shirt, which is great. You didn't even button your shirt.
I know. I feel now. Look, how do I feel? Yeah, I would agree that awareness, our industry awareness in terms of, it being a career that will make you a lot of money or is flashy is very low. That awareness. There are not a ton of people that I know, especially, we're in lifestyle hotels, who went to school to be in hospitality. Generally it's something I know I fell into. So yeah, I mean, awareness is certainly a problem, but I think that the numbers themselves, as far as the executive level and these groups within the executive level of our industry, show that something is wrong, right? I mean, I guess it's possible that maybe they're not interested in the executive levels, but I'm sure it's more likely that there's some kind of discriminatory factor in place. And the best we can do is to groom, we groom as many talented members of these groups as we can into functioning amazing executives who know all the tricks of the trade, and then let them flourish on their own. But I think that HMentors is an amazing starting point, and we want to use our connections and we want to use our Rolodex and our knowledge to help people, and this is the best way to do it.
So tell me how it works. So tell us how it works. Day one, it gets started. I need a mentor. I'm lost. I just want to maybe get into this business or other business. What do I do? How do I sign up? How do I get your phone number to? So
you're going to go to HMentors.org. Right now, it's just simply an email address you enter in there for more info. Starting April 1st, it's going to be a full application site. And both mentors and mentees, people who want to teach and other people who want to learn, have to follow an application process. And it's pretty detailed. We want to make sure that everyone, we're expecting numbers here. We're promising pretty much jobs at the end of this. So we're expecting a pretty big influx of applications, but we're going to qualify the applications on both sides. Make sure we're dealing with mentors who are worthy, who understand the business, who have been in it a while, who want to be there. And then on the same side, on the mentee side, we want to make sure we're not going to have people that are one and done and, maybe sort of interested and want to try out a meeting. We want to make sure people are dedicated to the program. It's a 3 to 6 month mentorship program. And again, we have a large number of mentors already in place who are pretty high level people at private jet companies, hotel companies, travel agencies, all different areas of hospitality, hotel company, airlines, just car companies, all over the place. And we're going to place mentors with mentees based on location and interest, which is from the application. They're going to meet a couple hours a month for 3 to 6 months, depending on what specific program they're interested in. We're all going to meet our board, which is myself, Nathan, and 8 others, big names, are going to meet monthly on the progress of these individuals and awesome. who's really killing it, who might need an extra boost, who didn't show up, who really, on all sides. And then at the end, we're going to, again, we've spoken to all kind of the large hotel brands, car companies, and airlines, and we have secured internships, and we're going and recruiters and HR departments, and we're going to match people based on what they want to do. They're going to get a little taste of everything, from your sales, marketing, revenue management to your ops, F&B. F&B side, do you want to fill it or do you want to run it? What are you more interested in? And then we're going to set up these individuals with internships, or we're going to get their resume if they're already in the workforce to these HR departments and these recruiters. And we're really going to follow up, or that's not just the end of the story. And then, months later, how was the internship, or were you placed, or how could we help you find something? I'm sorry?
Now, is this something that Dream is sponsoring? Are they footing the bill, so to speak, to start this?
Dream is
something
one
to
of
do
the
with
companies we're
private?
speaking
So,
to. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was asking Nathan.
It's actually independent of Dream, but we have the full support from several of the executives, including Jay Stein, who wants to be a part of it and wants to be involved with it. This is something that we decided we needed to start. Both myself and Rob, who I've known for a very long time, we just feel that there's a need there. And, you know, essentially our goal is to be a conduit by which we can create better diversity amongst, you know, all hospitality companies in hopes that they will begin to even approach us in certain scenarios to try and help them with their diversity process, because the candidates that we want to, you know, be involved with are candidates that we can definitely sign off our names on and our references on. We don't want to just
financing this? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have a number of donors. We went out early looking for money, and we have a number of people who donated towards the both hospitality companies and individuals who believed in our cause.
So if somebody wants to donate right now, I'm trying to get, like, if somebody wants to donate right now, can they donate?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Where would they donate? And maybe Glenn can get that up. Where can
I'm
they
totally
donate?
on banner. I'm doing my best producer Dave impersonation right now. Throw it our way.
So on April 1st, HMentors.org will be up, and there will be, like you said, application pages. There will also be a donation page, and we'll go out big on that as well.
Hey,
it's
Rob,
a great name. It's easy. It's an easy, great name to remember too.
Yes, Nathan.
And by the way,
I'm not a creative mind necessarily, but we know H Careers. We know a number of websites and things in our industry are just H. That we thought this is a perfect, again, easy, simple name for the mentorship program. People won't forget. Sorry to interrupt you, Nathan.
No, I was going to say, and by the way, we do have our 503C certification, and so we are, you know, above the board.
Legit.
We're legit, and that's important to us, because we know that, you know, in an environment where there's, you know, tons of corruption going on, this is a completely legal. We're happy to send you that paperwork if you need to see it and you are a donor. We want this to be a full transparent thing. And, you know, fortunately, our attorney, who also sits on the board, was able to rush that process through for us and get us that classification so that we can be up and running.
So I was just trying to make sure that Jay Stein wasn't the person picking all the board members, because he didn't give me a job 25 years ago, and I'm still thinking maybe he's out to get me and didn't give me a board seat. Okay.
He's tough. He's tough when he needs to be tough, but he's fair. And you know, and he does want to be involved, which is, you know, is kudos to him. I sent an email out to my executive team, my superiors, and they just to let them know what I was doing, and you know, to just let them know what the goal of the organization was, and if they wanted to be involved, and they all, you know, were very, very welcoming and appreciative of it.
So Nathan, what is I'm sorry, Glenn, go ahead.
No, I got an important question. It's from one of our audience members out there. What about Asian Americans? So who exactly is eligible to be a mentee? Because I assume you wouldn't leave out an entire community of people.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right. Anyone is eligible to be a mentee. We were looking. We were starting at the underserved via the numbers community. So we weren't as I mean, again, everybody can apply. We weren't as concerned with kind of women or LGBT. Like they seem represented within our industry, even on the C level, as they should be. So you know, with the new kind of unfortunate, terrible, awful things going on versus Asian Americans, I mean, which is an absolute disaster. I mean, that they could have been part of this before this situation, but you know, we certainly are welcoming to all white people as well. Like as you said before, white people from poor communities, I'm sure, are also underserved. So yeah, there's no restrictions here.
Excellent. That's really good to hear. And breath of fresh air. I'm sitting here thinking that I think part of the problem, while there is definitely a passive racism element to it, I'm wondering if people that are at the property level don't even understand, because of the communities they came from or just didn't come up in conversations, that they have these opportunities to begin with. So maybe some of that, and one of the great things you'll be able to accomplish through this, is to show people that this is a career. It's not just a job behind a front desk or cleaning rooms or being an engineer in a property, right, Rob? Or Nathan? Either one of you guys?
Absolutely. I think for me in my career, every time I saw representation from someone that looks like me or from someone who I know has been through or faced some of the same similar challenges being a minority, it helps inspire me more to continue my pursuit to achieving what my end goal is, right? And moving forward. So I think it's important for young individuals coming into any industry, not just hospitality, to see people when they're minorities, to see other minorities doing those things. I mean, every time I see someone, even to this day, when I see CEOs that will come on that are CEOs of hospitality groups, it's a huge, it's a huge motivation for me. And I think without that visual, it's really hard to get people to continue to pursue getting into an industry that they just don't see representation of themselves.
Right. That's really interesting how that's such an important part, that it's almost subliminal in a sense, that if we don't see ourselves and people who have had success and opportunities, then we immediately don't believe that necessarily we deserve that success and opportunities, or it's not even available to us. Quite a complicated issue to break down. So a lot of this mentoring is not just, hey, this is what you do in your job, but this is how you have to think about yourself. And this is how you have to be a better professional in order to be one of the pioneers of being represented out there to help bring everyone else along. Nathan, I like the way you're nodding your head there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I think there's so many different levels to this. It's funny because as I had conversations with Rob about how we would put this together, what exactly would be our focuses, your mind wants to take you in so many different directions because there's so many areas of need when it comes to getting more minorities through the doors. We want to address the C-level area, but we also want to just address minorities in the industry, period, from sales coordinators to there's a need for all of it on the corporate side. Again, we're represented very well. I think most minorities are represented very well in hospitality on property, but in management roles and in senior level roles and corporate roles, there's a definite disparity. And that's something that, needs to be addressed because, in all reality, that's where the big money is. That's where the solid career is. And you don't see that representation there.
Right. That's terrible. Chad Anderson is asking, will hotels hire judge upon ethnicity and make the workplaces more diverse? That's kind of a tricky kind of a situation. You want
ask the question again. Answer that question. Answer that question.
Chad's saying, will hotels hire judged upon ethnicity to make workplaces more diverse?
No. I can take that.
Yeah, please do.
Go ahead, Nathan.
I think, no. I think in one of the critical, concerns that I weighed in my mind when thinking about how, even how our organization would work. The idea is to get qualified, highly skilled individuals who are minorities and give opportunities for them to be successful. It's not to just open up the floodgates and just run minorities through the doors. The idea is to get quality individuals, and there are a lot of them. There are many African Americans graduating out of universities with hospitality degrees and just don't know where to go, how to use it appropriately, or how to gain recognition from companies they work for, right? To continue to grow. So the idea is we want to help change the diversity spectrum in our industry, but we want it to be targeted. We want to bring through the best type of candidates that will help push it forward. Because one of the things my father always told me growing up, I have to own the fact that I have to be better at my job. I have to be more skilled. I have to be focused. I have to be on time. I have to do everything that normal people can sometimes not do.
Right,
because I can't complain about it. I have to do it because it makes it easier for that person coming through the doors behind me. And I have to own that weight. I have to own that responsibility. I have to own it.
Yeah.
And that's a shame because the perceptions are out there. And, I come from New York, so, we're more inclusive state than most. But when you go outside New York, it probably not as inclusive. I'll just say it nicely. And that you have to work harder just to stay on an even playing field is terrible. But you said something to go back to. You said coming out of college, there's opportunity. But I'll even go back. Like right now, because of COVID and everything, a lot of people aren't going to college financially, or they just like, what's the point? And they're going to tech schools. Well, I think the hotel business is the best tech school in the world. And
Absolutely.
you can literally, how many people, there's a guy on my team right now who's one of the smartest people in the industry, has done unbelievable things. And I don't even think he has a high school diploma. He may have a high school diploma, but he doesn't have any college. And he's always been, he's a white guy, but he's always been a little concerned about him. People that look down on him. I was like, dude, what's your brother? That's why you got where you are. And in this industry, more than any other industry, again, there is racism, like in any part of life, but if you work really, really hard, you don't have to go to college, and you can come in and you can go to the C-suite. You have to work really, really hard, and also you have to work around people that will help you. You see it, you know the people you're around that are looking at you, and you're like, oh, all right, let me just move on, And I really like the fact that you're doing something. And you're doing something to open the doors for the people that come behind you, because it is so critically important. What do you hope, if you had one hope, and this is for either one of you, what a year from now, not 10 years from now, but a year from now, what this does, what this organization does? Nathan, why don't you take
go to
that one
Rob
first?
for that one.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
the
I make the decisions. I'm the decision.
I'm so sorry. I didn't think you were going to do that, because traditionally you don't. And I wanted to try to eliminate some of the crosstalk. Instead, I just effed it up. Sorry. I will shut up.
Okay.
So does that mean not Rob? But yeah, our goal in 10 years, which is not what you asked, is to obviously have those numbers changed, right? That caused us to create this whole thing. The kind of the executive level, not even C-level, but the executive level numbers increase, right? And in our 1 year goal, we actually have a very detailed business plan with a quantifiable goal, and that's 50 people. We want 50 mentees to run through this process and to have success at the end. I mean, it doesn't mean that 50 will be the total number that we work with, but 50 is the goal for people who are placed, people who were either not in this industry, sour on this industry, or on a low level in this industry, have gone next step by the end of 1 year, by April 1st, 2022. And I think that's a very achievable goal. It's aggressive, but it's achievable given what the people we're working with, the names we have on board, and our drive to do this and to get this done.
How big is this? How big is this industry that 50 is a challenging number for a year? With all the people you on board, with all the knowledge you have complete access to the biggest hospitality podcast in the world, which is this one. You with all the power behind you, how can 50 be such an aggressive number?
Because I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be difficult to find the right people who want to be there on both sides, mentor and mentee. I think it's hard to find 50. And again, this is our first year, and we're nothing as of a month ago, right? So I think it's difficult for us to, for 50 people to make it through a 6-month process, and for 50 people to actually be placed in jobs or on the line for promotion or to make it to an executive level. I just think I don't think that's easy, despite the size of the industry and the popularity of this show. I think that as we're starting out, it's a pretty good number to start with. I think the number in 5 years will be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and maybe 500, maybe 1,000. But we have to start. We're starting from nothing here.
So can I volunteer to start talking at high schools? So if you guys, as you're connecting everyone together, you can count on me to the high schools in the city, and you point, shoot, and I'll show up, and I'll sit on the stage and talk for 2 days about how great this industry is. I'll do a PowerPoint, videos. I'll bring friends. I'll make everybody laugh. I'll get a bus, and I'll bring everybody to town and get them all jobs. We need to go and find people that aren't even paying attention to this industry. Again, personal experience. My own family, they're like, the hotel is a good industry. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
No one knows.
Like it's happening around me. I literally right now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people within my family group, and also friends of family that I'm trying to kind of mentor into this industry. But it took them until they're 21 years old to go, is this a possibility? So I think we need to go we need to fish where the fish are, and we need to go to high schools,
Totally.
not even colleges. We need to go to high
Absolutely.
schools and get them. I get calls almost every day about what school should I go to? Should I go to the business school? Should I go to high school? And this is what I say. I was like, go to whatever school you want, but make sure you can go to art school. But during art school, if you're interested in hotels, get a part-time job in the hotel business. I got a business degree, but I always had a part-time job in the hotel business. So there's so many ways to get into this industry. But if we don't go into high schools, okay, one of the great achievements of Hotel Impossible was that I've heard from deans of universities and some of the best in the country, and you know who they are, that show was responsible for a lot of growth in their schools because people saw that it was a possibility to learn to school. I had a dean, and I won't tell you what school, but it's one of the most famous schools in the world, meet me and tell me that she's had enrollment in her school go up because of the show. I went in the bathroom and cried. I literally cried because that's all I wanted to show to be. We got to fish where the fish are. So sign me up to wherever you want to send me.
Great. Yeah, that's amazing. I would agree that high school, let's start as early as we can, for sure. And we would love both of your help.
I'll go to pre-K classes. My wife's a pre-K. So I'll go to pre-K classes.
Sorry, I already launched a nursery school program, Anthony. You're a little late.
We would appreciate both of your help in any way, shape, and form. And I think you both make amazing mentors and friends of the organization, for sure.
We can do a Mr. Rogers show about the hotel business. I can sit on the bench, right, and say, "Hi, brothers and girls, welcome to my hotel." I put on a blazer.
My wife is getting me to put on my inside shoes now, so that would work out really well. But one of the things that came up, and Chad had mentioned that statement about hiring ethnicity to make the workplace more diverse, and not related to what he said, but it got me thinking that there is a notion in our society that I guess comes from bias and racism, that if you hire people of a diverse nature, then you are lowering the quality of employees. So I think that is an issue that we don't even discuss enough of, that notion is even out there.
It's clearly not.
Even hearing you say it is horrifying. Even
It's
hearing
weird.
you say those words,
it's
just
horrifying.
Coming. It's not weird. It's not weird. It's horrifying. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Nathan, you want to take that?
It's a taboo kind of a conversation, right? Because it immediately brings back things into your mind like affirmative action.
It's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah, how I always look at it is these are all things that initially have a positive, like they were created with the positive intent, right? I think like anything else, these are things that these are types of situations that you can't create and then just leave it alone. You have to constantly be tweaking it, because you want to bring African Americans and other minorities through the doors, right? But you also want to make sure that you're still bringing a high quality and high caliber of individual in, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a business, right? And true to our ownership groups, we also have to make sure that the jobs are getting done and they're being done efficiently, right? So there cannot be any tail off with that. You have to make sure that you're getting the right candidates and you're screening them appropriately. The bar is very high.
Yeah.
But Nathan, I'll say this, and to Glenn's point, I think this is really important, is if you have a white kid that comes in and he's lazy, and somebody will say, "Oh, kids today, you know how they are." You give them a break until you maybe mentor them to get to the next level. If you get a kid minority, there's so many prejudice already coming in. "Oh, he's lazy, get rid of him." You know what I'm saying? Where somebody else may get the benefit of the doubt because it's like, "Oh, you know how they are, kids today," and we'll work with them. Where somebody else comes in and they already have a target on their back, and the second that they're not showing up, one of the things that I think is critically missing is holding people to high standards. I don't care what background you are, and like you were saying, Nathan, you didn't get where you are because of your skin. You got where you are because you work your ass off. And period, end of story. And so we got to hold everyone to high standards. Showing a minority community or showing anyone how great the hospitality industry, that's just that. That's showing this is what you can have, this is what you can be, this is the opportunity. But gear up, saddle up, because good luck, man. This is a hard job, man. I'm 35 years in this business. I'm still working my butt off.
That gets back to the quantifiable number of 50, right? Not everybody who signed up for this is going to want to work, and we have to make sure that we are working with people who want to be there and are ready to work their butts off. Because as you said, it's hospitality is a 24/7 gig, man. And it's just, and people need to understand that going in, and anyone needs to understand that going in. So we are budgeting in basically the fact that a lot of people on both the mentor and mentee side are not going to want to follow through till the end. And this is a relatively rigorous process. So, I think that speaks to what we're trying to do. Yeah, I always say when you have a good employee, promote them and take care of them immediately. Pay them and promote them immediately.
Absolutely.
If a bad employee, remove them immediately. Don't waste any time on either side. And I think we're going to stick to that with this.
Right, and there's a difference, because I say the same thing and I agree with you 100%. But I want people to understand there's a difference between a bad employee and an employee who's not working at a level you expect them to work at. Right, that person deserves mentorship. That person deserves to say, hey, this is why you don't show up 2 minutes late. I have this conversation with someone in my family almost every day of like showing up right on time and showing up late. And showing up a minute late, you might as well be an hour late. This morning, between my Avis car rental, getting an Uber in St. Petersburg, and getting hit in the head with a door from an Uber driver, and a meeting, I was late an hour. Okay, I can't tell you the last time I was late an hour for anything. And thank God I was late, because the meeting was canceled and it gave me more time to get the meeting back on track. But my point being is, I try not to be late ever. Like even on this show, I'm never late. I'm always a few minutes early, not as early as I should be. But it's so important.
More today.
That the difference today. So the difference between a bad employee and an employee that needs mentorship, we've got to understand what that means. A bad attitude can be overcome with direction and high standards. You give that person a couple of tries, you give that person a couple of opportunities, and then give them tough love, and then they're gone. If you're in the story and you don't look back, and that's a lesson learned. Listen, every one of us on this podcast got our butts kicked and at some point learned a valuable lesson, right? We thought we were trying to get over on someone. So I took typing in the Air Force. I went to basic training, and then you take a technical skill. I was at a base where they were air traffic controllers were going to school, and I was just in typing class because I was going to be basically protocol officer secretary. I failed typing class. Okay, I had to take typing class in the Air Force for another 6 weeks, and I was doing well. But on the final, I was paying attention, and the lady goes, "Come here, Anthony." She goes, you're one of the best students. You're one of the best students in our class. I said, thank you very much. She goes, unfortunately, you have to take typing. You have to take the class over again. I go, what do you mean? She goes, yeah, do it again. I said, I come back tomorrow and take the test. She goes, no, you have to go back 6 weeks. So my entire Air Force class went to their duty station, and I stayed at Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi because I wasn't paying attention on one test, and I failed and had to go to typing school for 6 months, for 6 weeks. So every one of us has taken for granted that I don't have to work. I'll figure it out. They'll give me a break. And so we got to really understand the difference between somebody, and also walk in the room understanding, the difference between being lazy and not understanding to just being a bad employee.
In that sorry, Nathan.
I was going to say a part of the mentorship program early on will really be, those types of conversations, right? Very serious conversations. And, these are conversations that were had with me as well as I grew in my career from mentors of mine. The importance of understanding that everything that we're doing as minorities in any space, not just in hospitality, really will determine whether that company continues to change its approach to how they diversify, or whether we continue to perpetuate the problem. So it's so important that, my performance will decide whether someone comes behind me and easily gets hired because of the job that I've done. Right. And that changes the perception. So you have to own that personally, and that's a part of the mentorship program as well early on, getting them to understand that every move that we make in the office, it matters. It matters to that next guy coming in.
Right.
And that's a good point, because if a white guy does bad, you're not looking at all white guys, so all white guys suck, right?
There you go.
But you're 100%. If the black guy doesn't do well, it's like, oh, the other black guy sucks.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's very true. So one of the issues that I think that a lot of us need to reckon with, and I'm talking about the 50-year-old white guy group over here, the whole notion of unconscious bias and stuff that we might be bringing to something, right? I might not be somebody who's racist, but I might very well have unconscious bias based on my background and my life experiences and stuff. And I think I've done a decent job checking myself to make sure that I rid myself of those things. But not everybody is thinking hard about that. Nathan, Rob, how can people who are on the other side of this reevaluate how they're perceiving communities out there and their role in all of this to try to rid themselves of certain aspects of their personality that they might not even realize that they had, that's creating a sense of this bias? Rob?
Yeah, I'm sure it's just the sense of making something that's unconscious conscious, and right. I'm sure that the reason these numbers are where they are. Look, like people at Hilton or Hyatt aren't sitting in a boardroom saying, "Okay, we're only hiring white people," right? So right. The entire problem we're addressing is due to unconscious bias and organizations.
I'm sure some companies that do that, but okay.
What's that?
Right.
Well, there are some companies that do that.
Yes.
Oh, that's terrifying. But the majority, I'm sure it comes from an unconscious bias, and it takes, we believe, an organization like ours to help make that bias conscious and have people check themselves, like as you mentioned, and say, wow, we're really not doing a number of groups of service here, and I think that the awareness play here on top of helping the actual mentees. Is part of this. People read about this. We're going to go out big in the press. This is our start right here. People are going to say, well, maybe I'm part of this. Maybe I, like unconsciously, or right. It caused you hired a couple white people instead of people who were maybe a bit more qualified, but were of certain minorities. So I think that we can only help that. But yes, I agree with you that this exists. Everyone has these types of biases, of course.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Anthony, did you want to say something? If not, I got.
Yeah, just when I was going to make fun of Nathan's gaming chair, he disappeared.
I know. I was just telling him that if he's having an issue, leave the room and come back, and the technology usually fixes itself. Good old technology. But yeah, you make a great point there about how we have to think about those different types of things and really bring it into light. And I equate it to what we've seen with human trafficking issue. Nobody talked about it, and it was just kind of happening. But then all of a sudden, the industry made a conscious effort to think about it and make changes. And now I can't go anywhere without seeing signs about it, all sorts of different things. Nathan, your connection working better now, sir?
Sorry about that. Yes, I'm back.
All right, excellent.
So Nathan, before you went off air.
Can't hear you now.
Hold on.
You're back.
So you got the tie, you got the suit, pocket square, you got it all going on. But you're sitting in a business meeting, basically, in a gaming chair. So how much gaming do you do?
Nah, not as much as I would like.
Here's the thing, Anthony. Gaming chairs are a heck of a lot more comfortable than
they are. Actually,
chairs. They're ergonomic and they're built the right way. Yeah,
as I'm sitting in a hotel chair trying to get my back straight the whole hour.
You're supposed to be able to use them for hours on end, but those days, right, have passed me by. But I still get my gaming in.
Yeah,
I still get it in.
All right. Craig is saying he's a tech or today's producer. All right, Craig, that hurts. I take it personally. I'm blaming the technology.
Right.
Definitely, it was a mistake on my end.
Yeah.
And talking about mentorship, we're actually looking for an intern to help us with producing the show. And so now we have a day. So if there's any internships that want to, and again, it's not just an internship of helping us on the podcast for an hour and a half a day. You're getting connections to everybody on the show, including everybody that's on the show today. And as we know, the most powerful thing in a business, not only our business, any business, is connections. It's not what you know, it's who you know, period, end of story. And I'm not ashamed to use my connections, and everybody knows it. So if I call you up, Nathan or Rob, which I know at some point, and say, hey, because I heard you have a nice hotel coming up in the city that I may need some help with, getting some people employed, I'm not afraid to make connections. Matter of fact, I always say money and power. No, I'm not that interested in that. What I'm interested in is access. And so, if anybody's looking for an internship and you want a position for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, help us out, and you'll get connected to everybody. You get to talk to all the players, get all their phone numbers, their emails. You know, I always say if you wanted to be like I always say, like theater kids, if you want to be on Broadway, work in a hotel because all the producers stay there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty jealous.
A lot of acting.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of producer Dave. I wish I had something like this when I was starting out my career. I had to do it the old school way. He came in, now he's got all these great contacts, and
but he used it. He got a job. He got a job.
Congrats to him. I just saw he posted.
Yep.
Yeah, he got a job from the show. And I just want to make sure, because we said nice things about him on Friday, and I know he's not listening today. He wasn't that good.
Fortunately, Dave is great, and he is continuing to work with us. Just he's not able to be on air any day because he's amazing. Make sure that his group of hotels is making money that he's involved.
Well, I tell you how good he is. He does the thing I always talk about. Both of you guys, you know this. It's not about the things that people see you do. It's about the nuances, right? It's about things that people don't see you do, and they feel it. But Dave did something Sunday morning, I think, or Saturday morning at 8:55. He helped somebody deliver a present to my house that was a special present that they wanted to give me and whatever. And he drove all the way from Jersey, drove to my house 8:55 on a Saturday to make sure that the present arrived exactly on time. And he did that just because that's the kind of guy he is. And those kind of things go, because we don't know. I mean, how many people have called you and asked about a reference? And one of the things we're not allowed to say, oh, that person sucks, but we'll say it's a cloudy day today, and they know don't hire the person. And how many people have you been on the phone where you're like, no, just hire them. Get off the phone with me and go hire them, right? This is a small industry.
It is. Yeah. It really is. As global as it is, it's super connected. I tell that to a young professionals coming into our industry. You have to be careful how you carry yourself, how you speak to people, what your reputation is at your prior establishment. Every company you leave should want you back at all costs, any chance they get. That should be the mentality that you need to have. You want your last company to still want you back.
Right.
And that's important because everyone knows everyone.
Oh, yeah. How many times on this show, Glenn, do I start talking to somebody and it just goes off on 10 tangents because you talk about Jeff Toscano's hair or something?
Right.
Jeff Toscano does have great hair.
He does.
100%.
That's hysterical. Oh, I was looking to see if we still have that on here. I was going to bring that up, but no, I'm not prepared as producer Dave is. Gentlemen, we're starting to really run low on time, so let's get that messaging out there again. Tell us, for those folks that tuned in late, what is your goal? How can our viewers help you achieve that particular goal? Rob, why don't you start, please, sir?
Our goal is to level the playing field in hospitality to make sure that underserved communities, specifically Black and Latin communities, are where we see the numbers being unfair, are placed into this industry and they grow appropriately within this industry. That's our overall goal. The best way to help us is to sign up and to support us. And our website, we have a temp page up now at HMentors.org. That'll turn into a big permanent site with donation pages and application pages starting April 1. And even if you have no interest in being a mentor or being mentored, send in your info as a friend and let's chat about how we can get you involved in some other way. But the goal is to help people and to not talk. And we're not talkers here. We're doers, and we want to help people.
Excellent.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think to piggyback some of Rob's comments, I think it's important for each of us to realize that it is difficult to volunteer and to volunteer your time, to be able. I still have a day job. Rob owns a company. He's working. He has things that are important as well. I cannot stop making money and generating money for Dream Hotel Group. However, we have to be able to dedicate some and carve out some time in our lives to be able to do this. Is it easy? No, it's not. but it's a very important thing. And I think if anybody can reach out to us and they want to participate, they want to help, please carve out the time if you can, because it's one thing to complain about issues that we don't like within this type of space, right? But it's a whole nother topic or conversation to really say, hey, I'm going to carve out some of my own time to make a difference and to help people.
There's nothing worse than someone with a platform that doesn't use it, right? And there's nothing worse. It's tragic. Growing up, we all remember those days where we were afraid to ask for something. We were nervous. It's like we see the boss in the hallways and we're like, oh my God, that's the boss, that's the owner, that's the we remember those feelings of being insecure and being feeling inadequate and being like everybody else is smarter and better than us. Well, we got a platform and we can use our platform however the hell we want. It means all of us. And so if we don't do it, shame on us.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So how about be selfish for just 1 second, Nathan. Tell us how it makes you feel to do all of these things, because I know you're not doing it because it makes you feel bad.
No, I mean, you get a good feeling from it. I've had an opportunity to, in the last 5 or 6 years, to sit on several different boards and get active and outside of my day job. I think something like this is it feels better because it's something that, one, we've all spoken about in conversations over drinks many times, but to actually be able to make someone else's situation a little bit easier than what someone else may have experienced going into that field before them, there's no price tag that you can put on that. And I think this is a much more fulfilling board to sit on and be a part of getting off the ground, because it's doing something that's near and dear to most of our hearts. Look, we love this industry. I don't think any of us are here because it's just a job. This is not just a job, or we'd all leave and go do other things. We have degrees and stuff. I think what's important for us is we love this industry and we want it to be better and we want it to improve. And the talent pool is not as small as it appears. It's just the opportunity for that talent to actually find jobs.
So let me ask you one question. I'll let you guys go. This is specifically for you. Have you heard from, or if someone says from the minority community, good luck and God bless you, it ain't changing. It ain't changing anytime soon. You're on a fool's errand. This ain't gonna happen. What do you say to those people?
I mean, that, they may have justification to feel that way in their own heart. I hate to speak against what someone's experiences have led them to feel, but I think for most of us that are sitting in this particular call, I think we all have a similar train of thought. That's a defeatist attitude that I would never possess, because I think for all the freedoms that, and things that we have that are far better than what they were years ago, there were many people saying those statements. Right. Why would you ever want to vote as a Black person? Why would you ever want to have the right to vote as a woman? These are all things that, at some point there was probably people on the sidelines saying, it's never going to change. So you have to be willing to fight that fight. Now, does it mean that we're going to change things in 1 year or 2 years? Maybe not, but we feel like we can definitely impact the lives of those who come through the program and make it better. And long term, if we stick at this and we stay with it like we plan on doing, I really do think we can make a big difference down the line.
How many people said there'll never be a Black family in the White House, right?
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, there's so many different things that we take for granted that we have now. Is that saying that things are perfect now? Absolutely not. But think about how many freedoms we have now and how much things have improved in different aspects of our lives. And I'm certain that there were people sitting on the sideline saying, don't even waste your time. It's not worth it. It's always worth it. And I'll fight for freedom for someone to have that I may not get to cherish that experience myself. You think of people like Martin Luther King. He's not here to see the fruit of his labors, but doesn't mean that his labor was worthless. And that's something I think we have to always remember.
It's a beautiful sentiment. Gentlemen, how about a good shameless plugs for yourself? Nathan, we'll start with you, and then we'll wrap it up with Rob.
If I wish that, we have so many amazing people in our industry, and they're all, as they slowly find out about what we're putting together here, or wanting to be involved, feel free to reach out to me and Rob through the website, HMentors.org, or through us directly. I'm very reachable. We're both pretty well known in the industry. Everybody knows us. Feel free to send me an email to my work email, ngoodman@dreamhotelgroup.com. I'm happy to help.
Beautiful. And book some rooms over at Dream through him.
That's right. And if you need hotels in New York, LA, Nashville, Miami, and any other places that Dream Hotels to be, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you out with that as well.
Good. Now,
can you do me a favor, Nathan? Can you do me a personal favor, Nathan?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to send you my resume. Can you put a good word with Jay? Tell him I'm a quality person.
Yes, I'll certainly do that. I'll plug you all day over there.
All right, Rob.
It's great to meet everybody. Thank you for this. Again, hmentors.org is the website. April 1st is the drop date for this organization. My name is Rob, and I'm a hotel consultant and a travel agency owner. If you ever need anything from me, I'm at rdbvip.com, and then obviously on HMentors as well. And it's great to meet everyone. Thanks so much for having us. This podcast is a huge deal, and it's good to be here.
Well, thank you. And I will say this. If you're an executive in a major company and you saw this show and you watched this show and you're having your lunch and you're not taking notes and you're not signing up to be a mentor, shame on you.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it too. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
And let's have you come back on when you get this thing up and rolling. We can get a good progress report from you and be a little more. And don't forget, we want to help in any way that we can. Just let us know how we can do that. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, Anthony, another good one. I really learned a lot. And that's one of the things that I'm doing a little bit now, but I don't feel like I had a really great mentor coming up in my career. And I love the idea of being able to give back and help people along the way and show them those shortcuts to success.
Well, I tell you, since I've been working with you, man, it's been hard. I wish you had a mentor so it wouldn't be such hard lifting for me. It's been really hard, Glenn. It's been really hard.
All right. Another show where Anthony shows out all of my failures out there. But what are you going to do?
So Glenn, no, I haven't shut out all your failures. Your producing ability, hosting ability. I'm not producing and host. You're doing a great job, but man, so anybody wants to intern for us, shoot Glenn an email or me an email, DM us. There's an opportunity, and it's not an unpaid internship. Internship.
Yes, it will be compensated. Glenn at novacancynews.com. That's Glenn with 2 N's at novacancynews.com. All right. Thank you so much for being here today, everybody. Remember, subscribe to our newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866. Get all the news. Check out novacancynews.com. But most important, I saw a thing on there about how you're no longer on Amazon, but all of Anthony's Hotel Impossible shows are now on Discovery Plus. So go ahead and sign up for that. And you can catch all the episodes of Hotel Impossible anytime you'd like.
Because Discovery has their own streaming services. So that's why they're not on Amazon. Why would they be on a competitor now? So apparently they're on Discovery. And just so everybody knows, I make no money off of it. And it's not my decision to be on Discovery. Stop sending me emails saying, why are you on Discovery Plus? Change that. I was like, I can't. I have nothing to do with it.
Right. And feel free, if you want, send him some royalty checks. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you all here tomorrow. I have no idea who's on the show. I should probably figure that out and plug that. This is what we call filling time, so I can bring up my list. Scott Coran of Rents in Hotels. Then we're going overseas. We're going to talk to some folks over Palladium Hotel Group on Wednesday, and then I'll be down with Chris one-on-one with you with Chesapeake Hotels. So, Anthony, see you tomorrow. Enjoy being down in Florida for the rest of your day. And remember, everybody.
I'll be in Florida tomorrow as well.
Awesome. We'll be in different parts of the state. That'll be fun. Have a great day, everybody. And remember, you got one life. So blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
All right. See you all.